This is the instructional how-to video for the Pan Mark or the Spice is Right trailer. I'm going to show the functionality of your brand new concession trailer and then the shutdown procedure. I have everything in the working manner at this moment. Flip-up counter set in place, concession door open, exterior light on, your exterior light on here. Got your 100 amp panel, all 20 amp independent circuits. We use a 100 amp panel for the breaker storage space. Outside of that panel is a 25-foot power cord that's rated at 50 amps at 240 volts. It runs down through the cable hatch and plugged into my building power itself. We have your battery for the 12-volt lighting system and water pumps, fuse panel, and our battery charger itself. Foot flush toilet, hand wash sink, got your city water fill box. This is for filling the fresh water tank and running the water pump. This is for the kitchen side. There is one on the passenger side that's for the restroom itself. So this is your non-pressure side, so water tank and water pump. If you need to run any bleach or sanitizer in the tank for cleaning purposes, do so through this port. If you are provided pressurized water and want to use that without using the water pump, you can hook into this water fill here. This is your pressurized side. So you would take your food grade water hose and hook into that port itself. Then you can pull this flap out of the way and be able to lock up so nobody can tamper with the water on this side. Go ahead and show the water. Sorry, there we go. Over 123 degrees and still going. Plenty of hot water. Water pump switch for the restroom tank, as that freshwater tank is located here. And then you have your freshwater tank for the 3-bin sink and hand sink in here. Water heater and blowout valves down below as well. Before I ever plugged the water heater in, I made sure I had continuous water flow out of all of the hot water faucets themselves. Interior and exterior light switch is located here. Right above the entry door we have our fire suppression control head. We have our fire suppression tank. Oh, let me back up real quick. And this is the water pump switch for the kitchen side. Stainless steel tables with work shelves below. Go ahead and show the plugs working. Your sandwich prep is sitting at nice 33 degrees. Your fridge is sitting at 33 degrees also. This is your exhaust fan switch. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and look at the AC, see what it's reading. It's sitting at 64 degrees. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and show the equipment working, and then I'll shut everything down and show you how it operates. So you'll need lighters like this for lighting your equipment itself. As you can see, the thermal pile is lit. It is in the on position, and we can control the burner itself with the thermostat. Once we are finished, you can turn that to the off side if you're not using for the remaining portion of the day. For lighting purposes, before I ever start up a fryer, I always do this process here. Again, this is in the off position, meet the red dot. Turning this on and off, allowing this thermostat to connect with the control valve or the gas valve. Once I've done that, I will rotate to where the L meets the red dot and allows you to push in. You have to push in and hold while administering fire to the thermopile. Once the thermopile is lit, you have to hold it for generally about 10 to 15 seconds. You will slowly release this button. As long as you can release the pilot button and your thermopile stays lit, you can rotate to the on position, and at that point you'll have full control with your thermostat when ready. Your paperwork in your fridge has the drain valve or the drain tube that will thread into here. Once that is hooked up, then you can dump the grease or oil into a vat that is NSF approved for either hot or cold, whichever way you're putting the oil in. Coming to the griddle itself, as you will see, all of the control knobs are in the off position, and you administer fire to right below the end of this flexible looking hose, and I will rotate where then you can see, where is it? There it is. You can see the pilot light lit. I did this on all three of them. There's this one, and where's the other one? There we go. We've got all three of them lit, as you can see. Then you can control and turn on your burners itself to the desired temperature. You would like. This griddle plate will get, it's still pretty hot right now from testing. I'm reading 113 degrees. Again, as this gets hot, this area here does get hot, so do make sure that you have something to protect your arms or wrists to keep from getting burned, as this does get extensively hot as well. You never need to force light any of this equipment. What I say by force lighting is do not turn this on until the pilot lights are actually burning. Once you have flame to the pilot lights, then you can activate your control knobs itself. There is a drain pan here to catch the debris. I have that in the fridge for transportation. We'll go ahead and slide over to the oven unit itself. Same thing for all of this equipment. Everything is here on the off position, and you will see all of the pilot lights working. So for the oven itself, you have to press in and hold the pilot button in place and use it's like a grill starter, and you will have your pilot light lit. As long as you can let off this button slowly here and the thermal pile stays lit, you are good to close this door up. But for demonstrational purposes, I will go ahead and turn to the 350-degree mark, showing your burner actually working. Now, you've got one rack, 5 different slots to choose from. The heat itself does come from the bottom and the sides and rear of the unit itself. This unit also has a drip pan, which I will put in the fridge here momentarily. Going to the burners themselves, we will have them wire tied in place. Eventually that wire tie will break due to excessive heat. Simply make sure that you put wire tie that does wrap around the burners and the frame of the unit to hold them for safe transport. The 4-burner itself is the same thing as the griddle. Never force light anything. Again, showing that everything is in the off position. You can see that I have my pilot lights actually burning right this second. There's enough gas coming out for those pilots. Again, all you do is strike your lighter right next to that pilot and it will be activated. At that point, then you can turn your burners on to the desired heat setting that you would like. We'll go ahead and rotate over here to the 3-well steam table. Same thing for this, off position, off position, off position. And you can see my pilot lights actually lit. Once those are lit, you can turn the burner to the desired temp that you choose. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the gas off, and then we'll go back over the rest of the procedure itself. So I'm only running one tank. That's all you need to run at one time. Always turn the gas valve off and the tank itself. Your tanks are the same as mine. You just rotate this knob to turn it off. So again, both tanks need to be in the off position and turned off for transport and or when business is shut down. We'll go ahead and turn the hood system off and the AC so we can finish this video without the noise of the units itself. So you have the removable filters that will need to be periodically cleaned. These are able to remove very simply, and you can use a mild degreaser and hot water or soap to make sure that you clean them thoroughly, let them air dry before the next use. So if you did it the night, clean them at night, next day they will be fully dry. Now you have these sensors that are above each piece of equipment. Everything is set in place for this fire suppression system to automatically work, or you can manually pull the trigger and make it work. If you run your equipment with the hood system off, you take a chance on popping the heat sensors themselves, and everything that is in this red tank will come spraying out of the nozzles and cost about $2,000 for cleanup and about roughly about a week of shutdown time. So always duly noted that before you ever turn the propane on, and while the propane is on, this hood system switch needs to be in the on position itself. What grease does not collect in the filters will run to the drip tray and go down to the very end cup that will need to be monitored daily. Never run the hood system without the filters. The filters are set in place for a reason. Also, the exhaust fan will need to be exhaust fan will need to be set up on periodic cleaning, at least quarterly, for proper maintenance and cleaning. Also, the manuals that are in the refrigerator will show cleaning procedures for all of the equipment and condensers. Definitely read through all of the manuals itself to be properly educated on the actual equipment cleaning and maintenance. Drain tube for the deep fryer itself, legs for the stove, which we don't use, drip pan for the griddle and paperwork. All of the packaging and content is in its original place. You have your sandwich prep itself. Has 8 pans, paperwork for the stove, paperwork for the Arctic Air unit itself. Again, refrigeration below. Once you clean and season this griddle in, it's kind of like a cast iron skillet. You don't need to, so to speak, wash it with water. It will rust if not properly done. So once you get this back to your place, you'll need to have your local fire marshal come out and tag the system and certify it. And again, this is the control head. If you pull this pin, swing this arm, everything in that tank will dump out. It is live and ready to go, other than the tagging of the system itself. For the steam table, you'll need to put 1 pan in for the water and then your food pans in, depending on how many you want. If you do not want moisture or steam in there, just put your pans for more of a crispy style product that you're keeping warm. We do have space for the refrigerator that you intend to put after you receive the trailer. So back to our plumbing before we go to the gas itself. You've got your waste drain valve. You've got one at the front of the axles, one at the rear of the axles. You can hook up a 3/4 inch or you can hook up a 3-inch RV hose. Once the hose is hooked up, this gate valve does pull. Water will flow out like so. Once that's finished, do close that back off and replace the cap. As always, before transportation, make sure lug nuts are tight, air pressure is good, and once a year you will need to remove these rubber grommets for applying grease to the zerk fittings behind these rubber fittings. Only once a year is that needed. So the gas system itself, how I always activate the gas system is, again, hood system in the on position and running, turning this gas valve on, pressurizing the line to this shutoff valve. When you open this shutoff valve, you should hear a split-second charge of the line, and that's it. By saying that, that is knowing that all of the equipment in the inside of the trailer is in the off position. If you know 100% it's in the off position, as it should be upon startup, and you turn this on and you hear gas rushing through this 2-stage regulator, whether this one or this one, you'll need to immediately shut the valve off and have a licensed plumber come out and inspect the piping. I say that because the piping is ran below the trailer, hugging the frame, and road debris, logs, semi-tires can damage and break the piping, causing a bad explosion if not carefully monitoring. Again, this is upon startup of the trailer. Hood system on, all the equipment's in the off position. Turn the gas on to the 2-stage regulator and then opening this valve. It's a psst, that's it. If you hear rapid gas, immediately shut off and have a licensed gas plumber come out and inspect. Now, once the equipment is actually lit and everything is going, if you come back here at the back of the trailer, you will hear gas coming through the 2-stage regulator once the equipment is actually lit. But other than that, you should not hear any gas coming through at that moment. And as always, make sure that the gas tanks and gas valves and all the equipment is in the off position when shut down for business at the end of the day or transport. Your crank jacks themselves, you can use a cordless impact gun and a 3/4 inch socket. And depending on if you're trying to level the trailer or stabilize the trailer, or if you're trying to lift one whole side, either way, do not put all of the pressure on just one jack. You need to use them in sequence together. So if it's the rear of the trailer you're lifting up, you'll do a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other, till you get to the desired height you choose. As always, when you're leaving, do make sure that your crank jacks are up, gas is in the off position, lug nuts are tight, tire pressure is good to go. Also, make sure that all of your tail lights, blinkers and brake lights and running lights are in the functioning and working position. Make sure that your waste drain valves are shut and closed and your hoses put up, as well as your freshwater hoses themselves. Definitely want to unplug your power cord and pull the cord back up into the restroom area itself, making sure that all doors are actively shut, as well as the flip-up counter and window. If you choose to run your generator on the platform while driving down the road, do make sure that this power cord is in a fixed position, that it cannot drag the road, as that will damage the power cord. In the middle of the flip-up counter, the screw is an identifying point. Pressing upward allows that to rotate to the down position. Doing the same thing, pressing upward allows it to be set up as well. Only do that in the middle of the flip-up counter. Make sure that you shut that door down for transport and lock, and also lock the flip-up counter. We thank you for taking the time to view this video. We made this video to help educate those that haven't ran the equipment, and also make sure that everything is understood for new employees that are coming aboard. Please use this video in any way that helps your business to be safe and prosper. If you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We'll be glad to assist in any way. We thank you for your business and wish you the very best.